I'm going to start off with the differential bag. So differential bag, if you open the main bag, you are going to have 3 other small bags. Just be careful because you are going to have some loose parts in here, so you don't want to lose them. Here we go, let me try to get these out. So we have some seals and some penguins. No, these are not penguins. Here we go. The seals are actually really nice. I'm not sure if the non-kit version has such nice seals. I do not see why not. But these are nice molded rubber seals for the differentials, which I think is great. The other thing that we have is we have our lubes over here, so we're going to go ahead and open this bag. We will be needing these. And let's see, we'll get the lithium grease out. And we'll get the oil. Well, this one's easy. Here we go. We'll worry about this one a little later. We'll go ahead and open up the bearings, and the bearing bag is the one that holds all the screws. So all the screws are in here. You do not need thread lock for the ones that go in here because they're going into plastic. Which is probably why Traxxas does not include them. Alright, so we have all the parts here. Now with the differentials, I'll be honest, usually once you build one, you've built them all. But now we have these here. Now I am going to use this lithium grease. And lithium grease is far better than your regular black grease. It doesn't gunk up the way black grease does. So when you begin, you're going to grab one of these blue seals, and these blue seals are going to go on the bottom, and then one of these washers. Now, before I ever install any of these seals, I always make sure to put some lubricant. All right. Let's see, bearing grease. I thought it was lithium grease. All right, bearing grease. Here we go. And we will have this. So the bearing's going to go on top, and the seal will go on bottom. Now, you can set one at a time, which is actually the way to go. So I'm going to remove this. And if you cannot seat it properly, all you have to do is just grab a driver. And you can use your driver to make sure this thing seats properly. Just be very careful not to damage it, so don't apply excess pressure. It just seats in there. It's just soft. Now I'm going to grab the washer, place the washer in here, and that is it. Once I have that inside, I'll place that there. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to lubricate the entire thing. And the reason why is I do not want this tearing up those seals. That's the reason why. And I'm just going to drop it in and gently pull on it. And that is it. So we have this one right here, and you're going to be repeating the process for all of these. So might as well just lubricate them all. And just a little bit of grease goes a long way. So you don't have to overdo it, just a small little dab. And you can just lubricate this, and that's pretty much it. So once you have that, you can just place them on every single one with the seals. And let's see, so this one was there, and I'll take this one. And if you already have a little bit of grease on your fingers, the seals, you can just pick them right up. And let's go ahead and do that. And use the washer. There, perfect. To be honest, it'll be easier to place the washer here and then the seal. So this is where they go anyway. There we go. And then I'll just place this in here. And that is it. So I have those two ready. So now I have to assemble these conical gears. These are really easy. They're just going to face each other. They will look like this. So the gears will be facing each other. And then once you do that, all you have to do is just drop them in. So you'll see the two little places here where they fit. They can only go on one side, so they will not fit on the other side. One of the things to note though is spread them. And the reason why you have to spread them apart is because of the shape here, you have to spread them. If not, they will not fit. So just keep that in mind. And that's how a differential works. So once I spin this, these gears should be rotating the opposite direction. This one rotates this way, this one rotates the other one. Which means that because they're rotating the opposite direction, as I rotate this bottom left, so left in relationship to the top is going to rotate right. So they're going to be rotating the opposite direction of each other. And that's what causes the differential effect. In other words, if I were to hold this here, I'm just going to hold it here, not install it. See if I can spin this one, the right one forward and the left one back. But as far as the left is concerned, they're both going forward. So if you look at the differential housing, they're both going forward, but as far as the left one's concerned, the right one is just traveling faster. But from the perspective of the right, the left one is traveling slower, or it's traveling backwards if you hold it still, right? That's the idea. So if we go back to the right is going forward, the left is stopped, or going backwards. But the differential is always going in one direction. All right, so that being said, we will set this one here. Let's go ahead and place the next one. All right. Come on. Not quite. There, nope. There. So what I did, found it easier to do it this way actually. I set the bottom one and then I just moved this one to the top and then I just slid this in. So there we go, this is set properly. And now all I have to do is grease the other ones. Oh, I go dirtying the manual. All right. So these here are the O-rings that go on this section, and there is no washer here. So these will just slide over the gear like that. And then once that is there, I can go ahead and take this one. This is going to be facing down and I'm going to drop the gear here on that conical section, that little concave section. And that's where it goes. And that's the reason why you need to lubricate this, because if you do not, it's going to wear that seal a lot quicker, and you run the risk of having leaks in your differential. All right, that is it. So now at this point, we need to fill these with differential fluid. So we will be having this here, and I'm just going to snip a little off the top. You really don't need to cut that much, but you need to make sure that you cut enough, because if you do not cut enough, just realized this plastic breaks easily. If you do not cut enough, it's going to take forever for the oil to come out. So there's a seal here. You see seals everywhere. Why not a penguin? Penguins are neat. All right, so it is 30,000 weight. This is what the differentials use. If you were doing a build just for fun, maybe go with a 20 or 25 in the rear, and go with a 50,000, even a 60,000 in the front. You'll actually get better performance, but this one I'm building to spec, so that's the reason why. So this is stock spec. And you're gonna have to wait for it to just drip down. I'm actually using the cap, and the cap's gonna hold it for me. The other one I can just hold with my hand. And do not overfill. If you overfill, you're gonna have problems. A lot of it's gonna leak out as you place the top gear on it, this one here. So you generally want to fill about a millimeter, up to a millimeter, and no more. That is, I would say, a good fill level. All right. Let's see. All right. This one needs a little more. All right, perfect. I'm just gonna set that one there. And now I'm going to grab one of these seals. Now, if you notice those little tabs go on these tabs here where the gears went in, where that little shaft holding the gears is. You will also be able to tell just by the holes, because the holes will not align if you do not do this correctly. So that's something else to keep in mind. And then just line up the holes this way. Something that you can do to line up the holes as you're doing this is to just set a screw, place a screw in there. All right, that was good. Oh. So if you had placed a screw beforehand, that would have helped as well. This should be a 2mm driver. If you have an electric screwdriver, you can use that. Just do something that, well, that was a disaster. Don't use something that's too powerful, that will ruin the threads. So you want something that you can control. Let me go ahead and redo this. And actually this one needs a little more oil. There. So I guess it wasn't too bad that happened. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set this in. Alright, and I'll line it up there. Now something too that you can do is you can pre-thread the plastic. I did not do that, but it's actually easier if you pre-thread the plastic. It just takes longer because you're driving a screw in, then driving it out. Well, all 4 of them. You're doing it 4 times per differential, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm just placing the cross screws first, and I'm not tightening them all the way. I'm just getting them a little close, but not completely close. Then I'm just going to drop the other 2. Then I'm going to get those 2 down close. And it's the same process to build the differentials for a Traxxas / 4x4. The components are the same. Here we go. I hope to make a kit at one point for / 4x4. I used to have a platinum model. You had to paint the body. Everything was assembled, but you had to paint the body and then get your own transmitter. So you had to install your own receiver in there. If they made a platinum model again, but as a kit, that would be great. I would love to have one of those. Just build it. But here's one differential. So after that, you just grab one of these bearings, put it on one side, and then you grab the other bearing, put it on the other side. Now the bearings, one of them has a larger inner diameter than the other. The small inner diameter goes on the side where the ring is. The one with the larger inner diameter goes on the opposite side. So this is the larger outer diameter, that's the smaller inner diameter. But here is one of my differentials. Now because the differentials are being built the same with the same weight oil, I don't have to keep track of front versus rear, but if you were using a different oil, I would recommend you keep track. That way you don't accidentally install the wrong one. If you were to install a differential with heavier oil than intended in the rear, let's just say you did fill one differential with 50,000 weight oil and another one with 20 weight oil. If you accidentally put that 20 weight oil in the front and the 50,000 in the rear, so 20,000 in the front, 50 in the rear, you would just be drifting everywhere. That rear end would just be sliding everywhere. That's something to keep in mind. The other thing that would happen too is as soon as the 2 side wheels started coming off the ground, they would just start to unload. Makes it easier to flip your truck. Now this one here, I'm not too worried about it because it is a brushed version, so I'm not going to drive it, 50 miles per hour. Unless it's a Stampede. I know I'm sure there are people out there that have taken their Stampedes faster than they're intended to go. Why not? If you want to do it, hey, go for it. Make yourself happy. That's the reason why you got an RC car. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy RC cars. Should make a sign. All right, that's a trademark. Here we go. We almost have the other differential as well. So if you're contemplating on buying a kit, just go for it. I think it is the best way to go. Truly is. You get to build everything. You get to say you built it. I mean, assuming you're proud of your work. And then you know how everything is built. There are some RTRs that screws just fall out or there's something wrong with them. That's something to keep in mind. But we have this. We're going to use grease for the gears, but we're not going to do that until we get to the building the bulkheads, which is where the differential case is. At this point, we will move on to the next one, so I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to comment and subscribe.
Oh. Oh, what? Oh, my hair! My arm! My rod!